Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Bupes from Dr. BKM Institutes once again. Subscribe this channel if you are preparing for OET, NCLEX or German classes as we serve nurses. And that is what we primarily do. And again, I don't know even how to say which thing is good for you because if you are targeting UK and New Zealand and Australia, including even USA or Canada, OET is one of the best things. Then obviously NCLEX is required in USA, Canada, and Australia. But if you are bypassing this process through New Zealand, then again, even for Australia, you don't need NCLEX, but NCLEX is required for USA, Canada, and for Australia. And then when it comes to Germany, it is one of the best countries, as you know, in the present moment, considering only one thing that it is giving you sponsorships. But again, you have to study German for that. So again, everybody will have different perspective. Even I have different perspective when I am in a different zone. Sometimes I believe this is best. Sometimes I believe this one is best. So you have to choose what is good for you. What do you like more? You want to invest in German classes? We are there for you. You want to invest in NCLEX classes? We are there for you. And OET, you all know that obviously we are everywhere. And I will try to take this session today and will try to make it as easy as possible. And trust me, after this session, you will not have lot of rather you won't have any problem except to practice. So just to say, can you please write it in the chat box if your this whiteboard is visible. Just put it in the chat box if the whiteboard is visible. Okay, I will see. Thank you very much for placing yes. Thank you. I got your messages and whiteboard is visible to you. So I'm just starting the session. Again, I told every one of you, the first 10-15 minutes can be boring and challenging, but these are the bases and this will set up everything for you. I'm not gonna take too much time, I promise, because I understand everybody does not have that kind of patience. So even I don't have much patience sometimes. So I'm just gonna be there for you. Okay. First of all, I just want to tell you, see, when it comes to OET reading and listening, the best method, as I always say, is elimination method. So that is what I was thinking today, how to tell you. So the first thing, again, this is the first thing I want to tell you, elimination. There is nothing better than elimination when it comes to OET reading and OET listening. So I would put the word elimination here. Now, there are two types of elimination I want you to do. Please listen to it very carefully, and just 15 minutes of patience will tell you everything. Then we will solve the questions with example to make it very easy for you. So first of all, elimination method is the key. When it comes to OET reading and listening, you will not find the direct answer. That is why you guys are facing problem in reading and listening, because you are matching word by word and you think most of the words which are matching can be our answer. Suppose if a sentence is given, then you read the paragraph, the sentence is matching. So you think this is my answer. But then there are some words. What are the words? These are the words you need to eliminate. LY words. The words I would like to say only, exclusively, rarely, often, frequently, these kind of ly words need to be eliminated 90% of the times. Suppose if in the paragraph it is given that paracetamol is given frequently, then obviously often word will help you to find the answer, because in paragraph frequently word is given, that paracetamol is given frequently for this condition. If any option is saying that paracetamol is often given or often word is there, then you will match this word. So these words are 90% for elimination. 10% they may help in finding the answer as well, because ly word, if it is given in a different form in the option, that becomes your lovely option. Suppose if somebody says this particular drug has an overall effect, so in the option, if it is given total effect, so total is equal to overall, this becomes our answer. So ly words are also important for elimination, but they are also important to understand that they sometimes help you to find the answers. When there is lot of change in the synonyms, then overall word would be replaced by total, whole, whole. So these are the words which can also help you to find the answers. So what I'm teaching you is to notice these words. You must be in a very, very good habit of noticing these words. Words like everywhere, words like always, words like never. Suppose if I tell you that digoxin will always be a drug of choice for cardiac failure. So you would say, sir, it is not necessary. Sometimes digoxin, sometimes it can be, LOL drugs, sometimes it can be calcium channel blockers. So you will give me different suggestions. And most of the times, if there is a problem with the blood volume, you will give me the suggestion of diuretics. So we can never put in the medical. This is always, always, never, must. Even words like must, they should be eliminated. Must means that you have to do this 100%. So any option stating must, always, everywhere, every, these are the words that obviously the chances of answer becomes very less, very less. Okay, the words which you need to notice. Again, I gave you that example of ly, but there are always the words like prior, after, post, post presentation, post operation. So these are very important words, very important words. I will give you an example. I was just, because today I'm teaching after a long time, so I was just trying to read something from authentic reading, because authentic reading is one of my favorite readings of all time, because this is what helps me to understand what OET is. So I was just seriously, after a long time I am teaching, so obviously I also need practice. But as soon as I opened this reading, I will also share it with you. Whosoever will message me in the comment box, I will also put this video on YouTube. When you will message me authentic reading, I will give you this authentic reading created by Cambridge Box Hill. So obviously it is the most authentic one. So I was just, after a long time when I was doing this question, I can again remind myself. See, earlier I used to be in regular practice. Today I'm reading after a long time. So even then, if you will see, according to the text, first of all, again, I have also prepared steps for you how to do a question. So I will do it here only. So I will rather not make even your first 15 minutes boring. I will come to the point directly. First, read the question. Even in listening, even in, and whatever instructions I'm giving you is both for reading and listening, because listening will also have the same thing in on your headphone, and they will say, according to the extract, prior to making a home visit, what should a nurse do? That would be in listening. Ultimately it is same whether you are doing reading or listening, it is same. And then they will talk of these, then the options would be given and you have to select. That is the only difference. Rather than this paragraph would be in the speaking form. When it comes to listening, that you will have this question, according to extract, prior to making a home visit, nurses must, then the speaker will start speaking. When the nurse is ready to depart, he must advise a minimum of 2 staff members. So when you read the must, see, that is the word. Again, I told you that these are the words you read: must, prior. If you start noticing these words and hearing these words, notice whether in listening, whether in reading, if you start noticing these words, these changes your life forever. So again, coming to the basic again. So when I was doing this question after a long time, I read the question carefully. Read the question carefully. First step. Second step, after the question, the second step, guys, is to read the paragraph. Now there is a strategy in reading the paragraph as well. Read the paragraph little fast, but as soon as your keyword comes, then be very slow, because you have to save time. Now you will say, sir, please quote us an example. Now here is an example. Please listen to it. According to the extract, prior to making a home visit, nurses must. So that means what a nurse must do. Prior means before. Prior means before. Before making a home visit. So nurse is going for a home visit. So before making a home visit, what should a nurse must do? What must a nurse do? Should need, must. Okay. So I will read. When the nurse is ready to depart, he or she must advise minimum of 2 staff. Must word is there. Hint is there. Before, ready to depart means before going. Members that he is commencing home visits with 1 staff member responsible for logging the nurse movement. So 1 staff member must log the movements of the nurse. More than 1 person must be made aware of the nurse movement. Failure to do so could result in the breakdown of communication and increased risk to the nurse or the practice. It can lead to the risk both to the practice or to the nurse. So a nurse should tell two staff members, and one staff member should be responsible. More than one person must be made aware. Now, the main part where I was saying read the paragraph. On return to the practice, the nurse must immediately advise the staff member. Now, I'm telling you the most important thing, guys. Please, and in the exam, even sometimes I forget, you also can forget. On return to the practice, now they are talking about post post thing after making a home visit. My question was prior. This whole paragraph, I can save my time. Save my time, save my energy. That is how you save time, guys. This is how simple OET reading becomes. Once you read the question carefully, you remember the question, you mark your points. So that is how you save your time. It's as simple as that. If you can understand this, trust me, 60% of your problem will go away. Don't read those lines which are not required. Still, but in the exam, we can't take that chance. So we will read it fast because we know it just does not have answer. I will read it fast. On return to the practice, nurse will immediately advise the staff member of his return. That means after coming, she will advise the staff, and the time will be documented on the patient visit list, then scanned. By that means the nurse will then attend to any specimens, cold chain, restricting. So I don't read it very carefully because they are not talking about prior to visit. Now let's read the option. Record the time when they leave the practice. They were talking about record the time. Is commencing record one staff member responsible for logging, maybe more than one person may be nurse movement. So movement and logging. So if logging word is connected to time, then I would do that. Otherwise, this cannot be my refill their bag with the necessary items. So if now understand, the nurse will then attend to specimen cold chain resting of the restocking the nurse kit, restocking the nurse kit, refill the bag. Now that is where people in the exam don't even remember after coming back from the exam whether they have done right or wrong. Refill the bag, restocking the bag. But again, strategies are more important than your mind. Strategy means this paragraph cannot have my answer. That is where this option goes. I will unmute you and will ask you because this is the most important, and you don't know. That's why you guys, I'm not saying in an active way. I'm really sorry, but sometimes some people say that sir, I did paper very well. I don't know what happened. This happened. That you got exactly the same thing. Refill their bag, refill their kit, that is where I was saying biohazardous waste. That means it can be necessary word as well. Sometimes we can believe so when you are in that frame of mind and you say this. Nah, that is where you get it wrong. This paragraph was not important. That is why it is so important to follow strategy. It will make your life easy and you will be like, wow. And this one, now communicate their intentions to other. This I think is the easiest one. So let's communicate their intentions to other stuff. So I think the answer should be C, because they were not talking about the time. More thing was they were talking about two staff members should be aware, one staff member. So I'm just gonna unmute you. And before we go further, because I want to know, as again, after a long time when you teach, you want to know whether you are teaching good or not. So I will take your honest opinion while recording this lecture. So I will unmute you and ask you if everybody has understood this point. Everybody, please, you can either chat or can tell me directly. Have you understood these small points? Yes, Deepa ma'am says yes. Okay. And I have also unmuted you. You can also speak if you want. Okay, so you have understood. Thank you. I've got your text chats. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, that's great. Very nice. Thank you very much for supporting me and for supporting my lecture. And I hope you're understanding. I will try to make it more, now, if I say more better, these are the words I want to teach you. More, more is a second degree, and better is also second degree. Now this is also I will teach you today, but let me teach you now only because by chance is that it has come out of my mouth, so it would be easy to remember. More means much, more, most. They are degrees. Degrees means, guys, now let's read the degrees as well. Share the whiteboard again. Existing whiteboard, yeah. Recent. Recent. I will take a new whiteboard. Let it be confusing me. Okay, yeah. Thankfully, I've got the same one. So again, I'm expecting that you would be able to see the whiteboard. So we have done a few small steps for OET reading. First, that we don't read the question carefully, and we will never know, because even after coming from the exam, I will always believe this question was right. Restocking, refilling, oh, that question was damn easy. So even in the listening, that happens the same way. So reading the question is most important thing. So first, again, I'm putting it. First step, read the question. Then I will talk about degrees as well. Question. Second step, read the paragraph, but in a time saving manner, that whatever is important, read it very carefully. Whatever is not important, please leave it. Like after returning to the practice. My question was prior to the practice. So make it very simple. Third, read the question again. Guys, if you will do this, I can't tell you how much will you improve. There, that is the main mistake. We read the question, then we forget the question. We read the paragraph, we go to the options, question is again gone. Read the question again. Means if you want 100% result, this is the main thing. Read the question again, then find your answer. Find your answer means if you have read the question carefully, like if I talk about the paragraph, the question we have done, they were saying inform two members to maintain the safety. So safety was the thing and informing communication was the thing. So I already had the answer. Communication should be my answer. And second paragraph, I did not read whether it was restocking or refilling. So you can well imagine two people getting the same question. One is feeling completely at ease. The second one is feeling, very hard question. Because communication is also given, refilling is also given. That is where it becomes cumbersome. So please, if you will read the question again, things will become very easy for you. I hope you all have understood. Now, talking about elimination method again. So otherwise, I always say there are three important things, guys. There are three important things. Elimination. First, active passive. You must know when you are doing reading, listening, writing, speaking. Active passive, you must know. I will teach you now only. Second is adverbs, which we have already talked about. Ly words, often, frequently, therefore, everywhere, always, where time is given, before, after, all these things, all these words means you have to observe these words. You can't ignore it. Anywhere, often, frequently, rarely, sadly, happily, everything should be recorded. These are the main words. Even though if the question language is very tough, these words will help you to find your answer, because 90% of the times they would be eliminated. 10% of the time, if they are given in the paragraph line, they will help you to find it. So please, again, third is degrees. These are the three major things I always say in OET to find your answer. So as adverbs, we have already talked about, and I've given you one example of how to read the question, but must word also was one of the word I taught in between. So must is not an adverb, it's a modal, but I take it as the same word. Must means have to. It's just like always, never, forever. So I eliminate these words. But if it is given in the question or paragraph, they become my help. Because if they are given in the question, they will be given in the answer as well. Okay? All right. Okay. Now talking about degrees. Degrees are like much, more, most. Good, better, best. Bad, worse, worst. And if you can say many easy degrees, obviously you must be having so many in your mind. Much more, most, good, better, best. These are the difficult ones. Easy ones, guys. Late, late, later, latest. It is also very important for our OET. And that's it. These are the main words. Otherwise, there are a lot of degrees. Obviously, you understand. Great, greater, greatest. ऐसे तो बहुत सारी हैं. There are a lot more. Now, what the rule of English says for degree is, if your question has this degree, which drug is better, which drug is worse, then your paragraph must also have the same line. Your option will have the same line. Because if they are talking about comparison, the comparison will always be there. If there is an option that is having words like, suppose if I say paracetamol is worse than ibuprofen, then worse, it comes with word then. Then is a word of comparison. So that is how you will recognize second degree. So if in the option it is said paracetamol is the best, paracetamol is worse than ibuprofen. So obviously, okay, if I say paracetamol is the worst. So guys, this is a simple thing and you all know. Paracetamol is worse than ibuprofen. That doesn't mean that it is the worst. First thing. So if they say paracetamol is the worst, then if it has to be my answer, then the answer will also have paracetamol is the most dreadful or terrible drug. So that is what I want to say. Third degree will always come with the third degree. If paragraph says worst, then answer will be having the most. Otherwise, this kind of option would be eliminated very easily. This would be eliminated like eliminated because paragraph does not have a superlative degree, third degree. Whereas if it is says worse, then it would also be given that ibuprofen is better. Suppose that is how they will change things. Obviously, in paper, there would be other things, like there would be a big line that will confuse you. But then, if your paragraph says worse, then you have to record second degree. So they will be saying ibuprofen is a better drug. So this is my answer. This was the complete line. That is what I was teaching you. Paracetamol is worse than ibuprofen. So if the options just says ibuprofen is a better drug, this is my answer because this is a second degree. But if it is given that ibuprofen is one of the best drugs, then I will not do it as my answer. Or even the best though obviously would be eliminated. But if I say ibuprofen is one of the best drugs, then it is eliminated. It is just better than paracetamol. But nobody is saying it is one of the best drugs. Best to hai nahi. It is not the best anyhow. But even not one of the best. It is just better than PCM. हो सकता है PCM is the last and then ibuprofen is little better. Obviously, otherwise in the real life, ibuprofen is a better drug or paracetamol is better than ibuprofen. I'm just taking an example with no rationality. So yeah, these are the things. So degrees are the ones that you record with the words like then. If they are given in the option, they would be eliminated. If in the paragraph comparison is given, then they are our favorites. So 10% chances favorites, 90% eliminate words like then. We will also do some examples. And the last thing is active passive. What are active passive? Active passives you all know. Anybody has any idea what is active passive? What is the difference between active and passive? I'm just going to unmute you again to ask you a little idea about active passive. Any idea, guys? Active passive? Why it is important generally? Why active passive is important? Nobody wants to participate or say something in the chat box. Let me read. Is everybody here? वैसे आप यहीं पे हो? Are you guys here? No.
Yes, sir, we are
Okay.
here.
Thank you very much. At least I got some response. I was like, okay, are you here or not? Okay, you just don't want to participate. That's okay. But that's okay. You are taking lecture after a long time. That is okay with me. I will take the most of the initiative. No problem at all. So guys, अब तक हमने what we have read until now is you have to look out for small things rather than big. And there, when I was preparing, normally I never prepare a lecture, but again, taking a lecture after a long time, what I could remember. is this. I wanted to teach you this, or this is coming little blurred. I will put it this way if it comes. Yeah. So I will tell you what is written over here. The first thing that came into my mind to teach you is, please, first of all, you have to follow the elimination method. But the major elimination happens. Don't waste your time in difficult questions. Like this question, what we did was easy. If we understand the basics, don't do difficult questions in the first round. Don't waste your time too much. Again, as simple as that. Some people keep on asking me one question or two questions from a particular ED, then they make the chaos out of it. Oh, sir, tell me this question only. Then I say, guys, even in the final exam, you will have two, three questions which would be impossible to solve. Please don't fight with your teacher or your mentor or even with me, because nobody knows everything. So this is the main thing. Even in the final exam, you should have a mindset. If any question is kind of poking you or making your life difficult in the final exam, try to use elimination method. If it's not happening, do it later. Do it because there is no negative marking, but do it later. This is the most important thing in the reading. Now, coming back to the point again, I have to manage the time for you guys so that you don't get bored. So, we read about degrees, we read about adverbs. These are the two things we have done. Active passive, you must know for all the things. Like, let me take the board again. Okay. Okay, guys. This is one of the best things what I feel when I started OET 12 years back, when I started teaching OET or IELTS, whatever, OET again, the major thing of what I have taught. So this is what I learned is active passive. This is the only thing that I knew the best, and that is what actually helped me to resolve all my problems when I wanted to do writing, when I wanted to do speaking, and I understood the importance. I will make it very simple for you. Active, passive. Passive are those sentences which are said indirectly. In our OET, passive is very important. I will give you a very, very good example. I always use this example of this is one of the OET questions only. Why is treatment denied to women? This is a very old example. Again, this is what I can remember from the old teachings, and this is what is my favorite of all questions. Why is treatment denied to women? Now, now the lines were like the treatment has been ongoing, and it was HRT topic. HRT is that was a pill, hormone replacement therapy pill. So that was the topic of OET readings only. So HRT pill. The treatment has been ongoing for women for a long time from 1980s. As lines would be given to 2020. It was the favorite treatment. Okay, so lines were like this. It was the favorite treatment. Women did not like taking it because they didn't like the taste. They used to have nausea, suppose used to have nausea after the treatment. Also, they did not, they used to discontinue it. They refused it because it they were supposed to be taken for long term, for long term, and it had to be taken, or multiple pills had to be taken. So this line was given. Doctors also, this is one of the best example I can quote you. Doctors also stopped giving this medication. Medication as it was having adverse effects. Suppose this was the paragraph and this was the thing that was given. Okay. So now this is one of the best. Option A, I will also, and you can do it with me. You can try. I will write it in front of you. Option A, ongoing length of the treatment mm, pills had to be taken frequently and could not be taken individually, taken at once. And nausea, nauseatic feeling causing women to dislike it, or tending women. Again, they that is how they make basic things, then they make it difficult by adding some, kind of vocabularies. So that is how they prepare exam, tending women to dislike it. And last, serious side effects. Okay. Now I'm leaving this question in front of you. I think everybody is okay and everybody can read it on the screen. I hope it is visible to you and let's do it together. I think you are already unmuted. If you are not, I'm going to unmute you again. So you are already unmuted. So you can participate. Which answer do you think is the answer? Because I have to teach you from the basics. So obviously I have to ask you this question. Again, I did not create any complex uh, language. And this is the last thing you need to learn. And then practice. Obviously, a lot of practice. We will do some practice questions as well. But this is the question I want you to solve. Anybody would like to choose A, B, C, D? It's an easy question. Why is the treatment denied to women? The treatment has been ongoing and it's favorite. Women did not like it, used to take it. Also, they refused it because of this. And one thing I would like to do, I will make it was. Now, these are the small things that everybody should notice. If my question is in is, then answer also needs to be in is. Grammar has a very important role. So if by chance, uh, doctor still believe the side effects to be very terrible. Okay. Now, if my question would have been this, then only last line was enough to my answer. Why? Because the whole paragraph was majorly in was. So when my question is in the present tense, my answer can never be in the past. So it's simple. Last line is my answer. That is how, again, you select the lines which can be your answer. Please understand this simple basic again. Sometimes in the exam, we don't, listening especially plays this thing with you. What do you think is the current situation over there? So they talk about, oh, doctor, I was feeling very bad. I had a very tough situation. It was very frustrating and disappointing. I used to be in college. I used to suffer from nausea, diarrhea, having so many vomitings, and my stomach was all in trouble. So that is how they confuse you. But the question written in front of you is in the present form, and then there are words like nausea, vomiting. You do those stuff because you think that this is the answer. But when they say, but now, since the time I have completed my college, everything is fine. It's just about only one thing, which is the current, which I am facing. So this line has the answer which I am facing in the listening. So that is why I encourage you, when you do listening, do one listening 3 times. That is why, because when you sometimes listen to it once, you say, Sir, I have heard nausea, I have heard vomiting, this is the answer. Then when I pick up your headphones and I listen to it, I say, Man, it's simple. They were asking about the current problem. You forgot the question. And then he said, I was having this, I was having that, I was having this. And then he said, but now everything is fine. I'm just facing this. So I am facing means present continuous tense. And this line has my answer. So this word after facing is my answer. So these are the small things you look forward to when it comes to OET. Okay. Before we do anything else, please help me with this. Anybody? So why is treatment denied? So I'm not saying is. Otherwise, the answer is में तो then last line is my answer. Doctor says it's side effects. But if suppose I want to talk about active passive, so what do you think is the answer in this paragraph? Anybody? Am I audible? And are you listening, guys? Means are you there or you are guessing? You want to guess the answer?
Yes, sir.
Now you can guess it. Then I am here to listen. Please guess your answer. Give it a shot.
D, sir.
B. Okay. B or D?
D for dog.
Okay. What else? Anybody else would like to give it a shot? Maybe it is also right, but anybody else?
D,
Nobody
sir.
wants to try? Sarah, do you want to give it a shot?
Yeah, I'll go with the D.
Okay. And what is the reason behind it? Okay, tell me. Anybody can participate again.
Yeah, so the question was asking why was treatment denied to women?
Yeah.
And so if we go to the last, from the second last, treatment and yeah, as it was having real adverse effects, doctors still believe this side effects top to be very terrible. So
But then also women refuse to take it because they were supposed to be taken for the long term, and long term can be ongoing length of the treatment.
yeah, but ongoing maybe A also, but yeah, it's confusing. I'll go with D anyway.
You are going with D just because you know there must be a trick. I'm just kidding. I'm not saying yes, of course. It can be correct too, but why not ongoing length of the treatment? Because women refuse to take it because they were supposed to be taken long term. So ongoing length of the treatment was also a problem. And second, there was nausea. And third, multiple pills had to be taken. So how about B? Pills had to be taken frequently, means multiple pills frequent on frequent basis and could
Yeah.
not be taken at once. Obviously, once means that we just can't have one pill. So we have to take it again and again. So even that
Again,
can be our answer. What say, guys? See, guys, you have the chance. See, this is like a final exam now. This is a moderate or a tough kind of a question. Anybody else want to participate or should I tell you the answer? Okay. Should I tell you the answer now?
please, sir.
Please. Sorry, I'm just kidding. The main thing is that yes, the answer is D. But in this question, why you know it is D? Because sir is playing with something, and I have to choose something like this. So that's what I believe. But let me tell you a simple basic reason. First, that is what active passive does. Please, was plus third form. Whenever, and now I will teach you this lesson, be plus third form. The only thing that claims any sentence to be passive is be plus third form. This is the only way to know a passive voice. Be means is MR, was, were, and been. Now come to your OET writing. Patient was advised by the doctor. So we write the lines. Patient was advised to take rest. Physiotherapy was given. Hydrotherapy was given. So we are writing in the passive because these all things were told by us. That means by the hospital or by the doctor. The patient was given paracetamol. Patient was advised. Patient was diagnosed with this. Patient was assessed with this. So this was all passive voice. Was plus third form. And when we come in the today visit, this was is replaced by has been. As simple as that. Today the patient has been diagnosed with, today the patient has been assessed with, physiotherapy has been given. This is the only thing that happens in today. Was becomes has been. plus third form. So this is how you will remember OET writing as well. Anybody having any doubt in this? Means not in the question, but in the passive voice understanding. Has been plus third form and was third form. Any doubt? Any doubt, please? We will have the lecture for just only next 15 minutes. So please participate. It would be easy because I have to ask you what doubts you have apart from this. So any doubts until now? Yes or no? No? Yes, that
No, sir.
means mostly I
No, sir.
didn't used to say yes, no, just because I have doubts, but I don't want to ask. So you are also the one I have doubts, but I don't want to ask, or you don't have doubts. Please tell me so that I can go forward. No doubts?
No, sir.
I'm taking the a single no as everybody's no. Okay. So why was women denied? Why was treatment denied to women? So that means it is a passive voice. Why was treatment denied to women? Obviously by the doctor or by someone. So these lines, if I simply say according to me, women did not like it is active. Women did not like it. Also, they refused it because they were supposed to be taken for long term. Sometimes people will say long term means ongoing length of the treatment. Sometimes we are over careful, but then you can make this life very easy because they refused it. Second form. Patient complained of, patient suffered from. We always say inactive, never use was in the writing as well. Patient suffered from, patient complained of. In the same way, patient refused the medication by himself. But the question was, why were women denied or why was treatment denied to women? So obviously a doctor can deny it. So doctors stopped giving this medication because they were having real side effects. And you all got to know about the answer, I think. Most of you, because I wrote the word real afterward. This is what will help you in the final exam. Real means serious. Final exam is all about these things. So small keywords make even see when we are talking about this question, we are not even talking about HRT or topic. It's all about English. That is why it is known as occupational English test. So the reading is never about the topic because topic is given. Question is created in the same way anybody will create an English exam. They will pick you at the basics of English. So today we have done three fundamental. Fundamental word is also known as elementary. It is also known as basic. Fundamental का मतलब होता है basic, elementary things, primary things. So words like primary, elementary, important, critical, vital, these are also the same lines. So we also have vocabulary on this YouTube channel. I am also uploading this video as well. So we have done three things. Active, passive. Passive means be plus third form. Was were third form. Is MR third form. And been third form. I also taught you with this question, if the word is given, then present tense is more important than anything else. That if question is in the present form, why this treatment is denied, then answer will always be in the present tense. If the question is in the past, then you check it active or passive. So the first thing is to understand present, past, future. And second thing you understand from the question is active or passive. Then you go to the paragraph, women refused it, women denied it. These lines don't matter to me now because I understand women were denied treatment by someone. I have to find someone. So even while doing the listening, these kind of things are more important. So when you read the question carefully again and look for three things, adverbs, degrees, and your tenses of the question, your life become easy. Words like prior, after. So we have done 2 3 questions today. And trust me, I will do one more thing for you just before we go. Otherwise, this lecture will not be. Obviously, this lecture would be very beneficial, but to win your trust, I'm just gonna pick up anything. Suppose I'm taking this share and I'm taking this desktop. I'm just going to this OET reading. What I'm gonna do, I'm just going haywire. Okay. I'm flipping the pages now. If you will see, I'm flipping the pages. Okay. Now I'm stopping somewhere. If you want, I can take the next thing. I'm just flipping the pages. Okay. And I'm gonna stop. Okay, I'm stopping here. Let's see. I'm just gonna read. I'm just taking like that. So I'm just telling you how I read in the final exam. Okay. So my presence of mind in the final exam would be like nurse staff can. So what I will again will record the word can. If nursing staff can remove a dressing if. Okay, I will make it a little larger so that you all can see. Otherwise, with the mobile phones, you will not be able to see it. So I want you to be okay. Nursing staff, I'm just taking a random question. Nursing staff can remove a dressing if. Dressings are an important component of the post-operative management. First line is not important because again, focus on the word remove. Dressings are important part. I don't care. Any dressings applied surgery have been done in the site should ideally be left in the place as stipulated by the surgical team. Nothing about removal. That is how you save time each second. And this is what matters to complete your task on time. Again, first strategy was don't do difficult questions. Easy questions, read only the lines which are handy, which are useful to you. It is acceptable for the initial dressing to be removed. Now, this is where it's now I start putting attention. Before that, putting attention was a waste. That is where I let my mind to relax when the lines are not which I want. So relax it. Now, it is acceptable for the initial dressing to be removed prematurely. LY word. See, I chose the question randomly. Still, I got my LY word. In order to have the wound reviewed so that she can review the wound, review means recheck the wound. And in certain situation, apply a new dressing. So it is acceptable for the initial dresses to be removed. So nursing staff can remove the dressing if review or if she wants to apply a new dressing. These situations include in which situations? When the dressing is no longer serving its purpose. Dressing falling off, excessive. So I know this is my answer. Excessive exudate soaking through the dressing, resulting in a suboptimal wound or when a wound complication is suspected. So if there is complication or the dressing is not doing its purpose. A member of the surgical team is pressing. Was there anything like member of the surgical team should be present? Nothing like that, right? Nothing, है ना? By chance, I hope I did not. No, there was nothing. There is a severe leakage. They were talking about leakage, right? Exudate, soaking out. This can be our answer. What do you say, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
They believe that wound has healed. Now, there is one more thing. This word should confuse me. Severe. Again, this is a word of elimination. But when I went there, excessive word was also given. That is what I was saying. This word will give you that 100% surety both in listening and both in reading. If this excessive word is not there, swear on anything, this is eliminated. If excessive word is not given, this is eliminated. Severe is the word of elimination. Again, a heavy word. Severe leakage. But when excessive is given, then I can consider it. And that is how I become 100% sure rather than 90%. And that is how I secure my marks by noticing this word. Now, when we are taking random questions, let me take you to the right as well. So people who are coming late, don't worry. I have recorded the whole lecture. This is last couple of questions we are doing. So I don't know whether this question is easy or not. Okay, I will do one of the part C rather than part B. Otherwise, you will say, oh, part B is so easy for us. Because part B and C does not make any difference if you follow the right strategy. Like suppose, okay, I will do some other, maybe this one. Okay. Now, if I look at this question, Suppose this is why I'm doing this question, because this contains, again, that is what I'm saying. That is what readings are all about. It's not only OET, but generally saying OET is our main motto. What do we learn about the experiment that made use of lights? Generally, LY as well as may have more potential than THAN, more complex surgery than previous experiments. See, this is what I taught you today. These are hints for you. Okay. If you don't believe it, uh, let's take one question up or down. Now I can see. Severe nerves may be able to, maybe word is very important. It can be our answer. Done on the strokes, passive voice have been overturned. Scientists' previous ideas about the brain have been overturned. That means scientists agree with these experiments. Have been overturned means have been overturned by the higher authorities, passive voice. This is what you should automatically know as soon as you see this option. So if anything says that earlier higher authorities ruled out scientist ideas. Now earlier word means previous. Scientist, higher authorities overruled means overturned scientists' ideas. And they will replace the word idea as well, like by the thinking, by the study. Idea also means studies, thinking. So they will change it like that. But if previous word is given, then if this is my option, then earlier word should always be there. Earlier, previous, before, prior. This is what I notice when I do, so that I can claim easy answers. So which question do you want me to do, 19th or 20th? What do you find is difficult? I will do that. 6th, or even if you will say 21st, whatever you will say, any random choice. No dimag wala kaam, generally, what your heart says. Which question, 17, 18, 19, 20, which question would you like me to do? You choose it. Just like that, you don't have to be really peculiar. Any question, we are just doing a random question because anything can come in the exam. Any choice? Not this reading, then this reading, any question? Any question you say, 9, 10th, 11, any random number you choose. You choose your date of birth. Anybody can tell only date of birth, not the complete date of birth, just the date. 10th, 12th, any question? Guys, any date? Nobody wants to say any. Okay, somebody is putting up in the, okay, chat box me, you are writing everything, 24. And most of everyone said, okay, 19, 19, then 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 16, 10th. Okay, cool. So I will take 21st is the most of you have said. First I will take 21st, then I will take 19. Two questions we will do before we leave. Just the two questions. Okay. Then we will think about maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow we will have one more class. Especially the students who are with us with Dr. BKM would definitely will have the class either tomorrow or day after. But please listen to this lecture very nicely today so that you can all remember this, so that when I teach you the next lectures, you can remember it. Okay. In the final paragraph, the writer used the phrase a far cry from to underline what point. Okay. Otherwise, I try to understand a little. A far cry from. From word is the main word here again. These are known as prepositions. A far cry from reaching to that point, something like that. So from word is very important. Okay, I'm just going to the paragraph. Even if scientists, even if techniques can be made to work, it is unclear how closely LY they will approximate natural sensations. They are talking about some sensations, or maybe they are talking about prosthetics, I guess. Yeah, implanted. So they're talking about prosthetics. So when you implant something. So even if such techniques can be made to work, it is unclear. It is unclear means it is not clear how closely they will approximate natural sensation. Suppose if my finger has natural sensation, even if we can make this technique available, even then we are not sure how close it would be. Tingles, pokes, vibrations are still a far cry from the complicated sensations that we feel when closing a hand over an apple. Okay. So they're talking about some, sorry. Yeah. So I was saying thing. So first he was talking that natural sensations are very, we are not sure how closely we will reach to natural sensations. Then he said some words, tingles, pokes, vibrations are still a far cry. They are very far cry from the complicated sensations that we feel when closing a hand over an apple or running a finger along a table's edge. Like this. Like if I show my table, so running a finger like this means that when we rub the finger on the edges, like if this is the bottle, these, so they are saying it is a far cry. But the patients don't need a perfect, but I did not get the right answer, means I did not get the right message. So I'm reading just one more line so that I can understand. But if I don't understand, I read one more line. But patients, but patients don't need a perfect sense of touch. So they are saying, so obviously they are saying that these vibrations are very complicated and they cannot be done by others. So patients do not want a perfect touch, at least they want something. So I think a far cry from over here is denoting that we can't reach to that level. That is what I feel. That such techniques, it is unclear, that it is not worthy. Then they were talking about the second thing, that it is still a far cry. So these words will help me. Still word is very important. Still a far cry from the complicated sensations that we feel while closing a hand. So overall, I feel that they are saying something like complicated sensations are very, so it will never be natural. That is what the message is. It will never be natural. So I will just go to the options what I have. This is a tough question you have chosen, guys, because I did not understand much of it, but still. How much more there is to achieve? Can be, cannot be, I'm not sure. How much more there is to achieve? That there is still more to achieve. But they were not talking about achievement, they were talking about the problem. Again, I will see, please, guys, listen to this. This is going to help you a little because it's a complicated thing for me. So I'm just gonna do it with utmost care because, again, but in the final exam, this is the question I will do in the second round. It's not an easy question. So again, the first technique I told you is not to waste time. But yeah, at least it deserves an attention. So yeah, even if such techniques can be made to work, it is clear how closely they will approximate natural selection. So they will not. Tingle's box vibration are still a far cry from the complicated sensations that we feel when closing a hand over an apple. Still a far cry. So they are talking a little bit. Still, word is talking about time a little, but otherwise I can really read the time. So how much more is there to achieve? They are not talking about achievement. They are talking about a problem. So should not be there. How complex experiments have become? They are not talking about whether the experiments are complex or easy. They are not talking about the complexion of the experiments. The need to reduce people expectations, the difference between the types of artificial. This is a tough question because it's not matching anything. How much more there is to achieve? They might be talking about achievements because that means he wants to say that there is still lot to achieve. How complex experiments have become? No. Elimination method will help me now. The need to reduce people expectation. They were not talking about reducing. They were not talking about at least for the need. So I don't really believe so. They were not saying that we need to reduce the expectation of the people. The difference between the types of artificial, they were not talking about the types. By chance, A is the only thing I can. I have to read the statement again because A is the only option I can relate with elimination method. Because yeah, there is nothing else I can read. I have to read it again. Even if such techniques can be made to, it is unclear how closely. Tingles, box vibration are still a cry from the complicated sensations that we feel when closing a hand over an apple. So they are saying it is a far cry. That means it is, there is more to achieve. That it is still a very far away solution. So A is the only choice I can take. Can you tell me the answer because I don't remember anything from this, but what I can see is I used elimination method in this complex question because they are saying that these vibrations are very complicated. That means it will take time to reach up to that level. So that is what they are trying to say in option A, that they are saying how much more is there is to achieve. So it is a far cry means that there is still very much things to achieve. And majorly I have done this question with elimination. Experiments are not complex. They are not telling people to reduce their expectations. They are not talking about different types of artificial sensation. There were no types of artificial sensations. So that is how I have reached to this. And then I read that it is a far cry from, that means yet there is many things to achieve. So that is how I have done this question. I hope the answer would be correct. Let me go through the answer as well so that I can see whether I've done wrong or right. 21st is A. That is how you do complex question in the final exam. There is how much there is to achieve. This is the answer. So that is how you do complex. So you, again, that is what I told you in the start. Elimination method is the method that will help you. That is how it helps in the complex questions. Easy questions will be done. And again, first technique is the strategy. Strategy was do only easy questions first. Easy questions means, what does easy question means? That you don't do difficult questions because they will consume your time and you don't know whether it is right or wrong. So do only easy question. Out of 22, at least 12 question will be easy. Secure your 12 marks. Then you just have to do 4 or 5 questions right. So this was a very complex question if you will see, guys. Very complex question if you will see. And that is exactly what happens in the exam. You have to be very careful. So this is what happened with me now, with you all, in front of you all. That first I said A is eliminated. Then I understood at least they were, then if you will see rest of the options, they were very easy to eliminate. Again, I will take you again back to the reading. Rest of the options were very easy. I will just take 1 second. Just 1 second. Give me 1 second. You will realize it that other options were very easy. How complex experiments have been? No, experiments have not become complex. People ki expectation should be reduced? No. Difference between different types of artificial sensations? There were not artificial pokes, vibrations. These are not artificial sensations. Pokes, vibrations, shaking of the hand is not artificial. So, and also they were not talking about different types of artificial sensation. So again, at least I know these three are not. Then I went to the paragraph again to understand. So they were saying it is a far cry to reach to that place. So they were talking about yet there is much more to achieve. So this is the only option I was left with. And that is how you do these complex questions in an easy way. So we are stopping here only rather than doing question number 19 because you guys will get bored. I hope you learned something and I hope this lecture was fruitful. If yes, then I will try to take 1 or 2 more lectures in this week. If you did not like it, then obviously I will still take the lecture. I'm just kidding. Okay, tell me, how was the lecture? How was it? Seriously, you can. Oh, it's not easy to say. So you'll put in the chat. You can put it in the chat box, but in that box I can read your name. So you can't say boring. So it's better. I can't listen to your voice. Anybody can say boring and can go and leave. Boring, leave. How was it, guys? Did you understand anything? Okay. So please, and last at the most important thing, now the students who have gone in rush, now for you who have stayed, the most important thing in this life and to learn something, you all know, repeat that thing again. That means when I will post this lecture, if you will re-listen to this lecture completely, I promise you, you will see the improvement of 20 to 30 points. But that will happen if you will listen to it again. Otherwise, there are so many lectures is gone. But what you have attended live, if you listen to it again, that is the power. You will always remember. Okay, guys. So please, when I will upload this lecture, do listen. And thank you for your compliment over the chat box. If they are positive, thank you, Garima ma'am, OnePlus, Samsung, Rekha ma'am, Ritika ma'am, Sukhpreet ma'am. Thank you so much, everyone, and Poonam ma'am and Navjot ma'am. Thank you for writing over the chat box. And again, please telling you, thank you, Rekha ma'am. Please telling you, just make it easy, yaar. कुछ है ही नहीं, it's not difficult at all. Thank you, Ritu ma'am. कुछ भी नहीं है. OET is nothing. I always say, read the question, understand what the question requires, read the paragraph, find the line which is your important line, reread the question. That's it. क्वेश्चन को दोबारा जरूर पढ़ना है and you will. Thank you, Manpreet, and thank you, everyone. We I'm thankful to everyone, including Bhupinder ma'am and everyone. And even if you guys have come, thank you OnePlus, thank you Rekha ma'am. Even if you have come late, I will upload this lecture, so you don't have to worry. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Bye bye. See ya. And we will talk about listening tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I will again upload the same. We will have a listening lecture as well in the next 2 days that will further boost your reading again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Karamjit ma'am. Thank you, Poonam ma'am. See you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sarah ma'am. Take care. Bye bye. See you.